Hey guys, so this video will be focusing on 5 tips that will help you become better with one of the most famous weapons of the game, the AK. Now you're probably one of those, I already know how to use the AK and I don't need you to teach me anything guy. So here's your warning, these tips will be focused towards new players and beginners of the game. Here we go. My first tip will obviously be about the recoil of the gun. Fun fact, the AK's recoil hasn't been changed or been modified since August 2012. So if there's any gun you really want to practice with, this is the gun. Now to master the recoil, check out this animation. This shows us where the shots land if you spray the AK. To control your spray, look at this animation. This shows us that you need to drag your mouse down, then a tiny bit to the right and then to the left, and then back to the right. You might think that it looks easy, but it's actually not that easy and it requires a lot of practice. If you want something simple and still very effective, I recommend this method. When you aim at the enemy and you're about to shoot, drag your mouse down while moving a little bit to the left. This will make sure to kill the enemy and it will often result to a headshot. My second tip is how to control your AK when you need to rush or move fast. The first rule is to always pre-aim for the head, because the AK only needs one headshot to kill, even if they have helmets. The second rule is deciding if you want to stand or crouch. Now crouching makes the recoil easier to control. A good example is tunnels on Dust 2 while being covered with these pillars. If a CT decides to push for some reason, then not only will you have better recoil, but the player will have a harder time hitting you. However, if you're rushing somewhere with many enemies, the best way to make sure you're moving fast and not slowing down by all the crouching is by not crouching. This can be hard for some people because they're used to crouching and shooting, but it's extremely rewarding since you get faster map control and it's easier to go from one enemy to the other. Here's an example of me doing exactly this. So, crouch with the AK when you have cover and stand up when you need to act fast and shoot multiple enemies. Tip number 3. Bursting is really effective with the AK, as this is one of the only rifles where you can actually hit 3 bullets and kill an enemy. If the enemy is out in the open, I recommend bursting with 3 to 4 bullets. A good way of bursting is by aiming between the neck and the head and letting the burst climb up on its own to secure a headshot. This technique is very accurate and effective in medium-ranged distances. If the enemy, however, is hiding behind a box or a wall where you're only able to see the head, then I suggest tapping. This is more likely to hit the enemy's head directly without losing much recoil. Practice tapping and bursting in these situations and you'll master the AK. Tip number 4. The AK is not only one of the best rifles in the game, but it's also one of the most effective guns to wallbang with. Here I'm shooting all the different material types. Basically, if you have objects that are 8 units thick, the AK shoots through all of them. This means that if you know the enemy is behind a weak material like wood, then wallbanging can be lethal. Tip number 5. When you're CT and you kill someone that has an AK or the round is about to end, pick it up or ask if someone wants it. Since the AK is so good in many different ways, it can be very good for the CTs, especially if you want to hold a bomb site rush. That was my 5 tips and I really hope I could help you out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Go bananas!
Wow.